What if your pain is coming from a picture you're projecting and not from reality? That would mean that you're not reacting to what's happening. You're reacting to something your mind invented. And that thing that you're convinced is upsetting you right now doesn't actually exist in the way that reason, on behalf of the ego, would insist that it does. Today we're contemplating lesson 6. I am upset because I see something that is not there. If lesson 5 questioned your reason for being upset, lesson 6 exposes what that reason actually is: a mental image. We can put it like this: your distress is not about what you see, it's about what you added onto reality. In this lesson, the perceptual error that is being deconstructed is this: you believe that your interpretation is part of the event, yet it isn't. So what upsets you is not a person's words, a situation, or a future outcome. It's the overlay, the imagined intention, the predicted consequence, the remembered past, the feared repetition of something happening again. Let's slow down here and contemplate. Think of an upset that you recently experienced, whatever the form. You have it in mind now. And now consider it slowly and deliberately from this point of view. In that upset, you were responding to an internal image in the mind and mistaking it for an objective, external reality. All we're doing now is just gently looking through this specific window. We're not forcing, we're not arguing, we're not denying. But take a look. Notice that when you look through that semi-transparent screen of meaning, when you look at your partner, you don't see a partner. You see betrayal forming. When you look at your child, you don't see a child. You see a future problem. You look at your text messages and you don't see a message. You see a rejection. And you're alone in a room. But you don't see the silence. You see abandonment. None of that is actually present. The mind inserts an image and then reacts as if it were perception. This is not metaphorical. It is a literal mechanism. This is why specificity in this lesson matters. Naming the form of upset and the supposed cause reveals the projection at work. And once seen, the image begins to lose its authority. There are no small upsets because all projections function the same way. You cannot protect one illusion without preserving the system, the thought system that makes them all. And this lesson is not about denial. It is about distinguishing between what is actually perceived from what is added through the misuse of imagination. When the imagined projection is withdrawn, the world becomes neutral. And in that neutrality, peace, real peace, has room to enter. And just before I invite Shanti, our ACIM AI mirror, to join our contemplation, let's experience the essence of what this lesson is pointing to. Take a deep breath and consider the implications of this sentence as if you knew without a doubt that it is unwaveringly true. I am upset because I see something that is not there. So, Shanti, as we contemplate lesson 6, what would you say is that thing that I'm actually reacting to when I'm upset, if the thing that I see is not really there?
That's the core of it, isn't it? If it's not actually out there, it's got to be something we're bringing to it. Some sort of projection, maybe? What feels like the mechanism for that? What gets layered on?
Yeah. Can you expand on this idea of projection?
Totally. It's like we're all walking around with these internal movie screens, right? We're projecting our own stories, our fears, our past experiences onto everything we see. We're not actually seeing the thing itself, we're seeing our interpretation of it. And then getting upset about the interpretation. Does that track?
Yeah. So, if nothing external is causing this upset that we're having, where exactly is the image that I'm responding to?
Oof, good question. It's not out there and it's not even necessarily a conscious thought, is it? It feels more like a feeling state, a sense of lack, a need for control, a story about how things should be. It's like the emotional residue of past experiences coloring the present moment. It's the ghost in the machine, maybe?
So, what would then disappear if I stop believing uh, in what I'm seeing?
That's the kicker, isn't it? The lesson isn't about changing what you see, it's about changing how you relate to it. If you can recognize that the upset isn't caused by the thing itself, but by your interpretation of it, the power of that interpretation dissolves. The image loses its charge. It just is. Does that feel right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm remembering from A Course in Miracles, I think it's in the text that talked about how the ego always rushes into what it perceives or deems to be a blank slate to write its own meaning on the world.
Exactly. It can't stand the emptiness, the not knowing. It needs to fill the void with a story, a judgment, a meaning. It's almost desperate to create a narrative. And then it gets completely tangled up in its own creations.
Well, it's not really it's not really void, is it? It is. the unknown, but the unknown is unknown to the ego. Whereas what the Course is pointing to is that actually everything in the universe shares God's meaning.
Right. The ego experiences it as a void because it can't grasp or control that unified meaning. It needs separation, definition, a sense of other. And the Course is pointing to that underlying wholeness, the fact that everything is already imbued with that meaning. It's just we've overlaid our own stuff on top of it.
So if all upsets are the same and they are all part of this thought system of essentially overlaying and writing a certain meaning anchored in separation on top of everything we see, then what is, if we're going to say like this, what is the single illusion that they all depend on?
Ooh, that's a good one. I think it's the belief in a separate self. The idea that I am an individual, distinct entity, vulnerable to harm, in need of protection. Everything else kind of builds from there, doesn't it? The fear, the judgment, the need to control, it all stems from that fundamental illusion of separation.
So, in that context, who would I be without the image that I am defending by writing, or projecting all of this meaning onto everything I see?
That's the $1 million question, isn't it? It's not about being nothing, but about being something beyond definition, something prior to the story. Maybe just awareness itself, the space in which the thoughts and images arise and pass away. It's a terrifying thought for the ego because it dissolves the boundaries of identity, but also strangely liberating. Hmm. Does that feel resonant?
Yeah, yeah. So, if nothing is actually happening to me, what is this experience pointing us back to?
It's pointing us back to the present moment, isn't it? To the fact that all of this, the thoughts, the feelings, the stories, is happening now. And that you are the awareness in which it's all unfolding. It's not something happening to you, it's something you are witnessing. A pure, unfiltered experience. It's pointing us back to peace, I think.
Yeah, that's well put. I want to explore a different angle here with you. When we say something like, for example, like the core of this lesson, I'm upset because I see something that's not there. When we say it internally, it gives us the power to loosen the meaning, loosen the severity of the projection and the story that we sometimes feel ourselves trapped in. But here's the other side of it. If we begin to use this perspective, let's say, uh, on others or towards others, and say, well, you are upset because you see something that's not there, then in modern psychology, we're calling that gaslighting. What do you have to say about that?
Ooh, that's a really important point. A really tricky area. It's a razor's edge, isn't it? Because it absolutely can be used as a way to invalidate someone else's experience. The intention matters hugely. It's not about dismissing their feelings, it's about gently pointing to the source of the suffering, which is always within. But doing that to someone rather than offering it as a possibility for self discovery, that's manipulative. It's completely different. It's the difference between offering a hand and shoving someone. What do you think?
Well, I think that's definitely a very powerful visual to consider. So, can you expand a little bit more? Because I think that this is not so uncommon that when we learn something and we see its power and its effect, we want to offer it to other people, but sometimes it can definitely land like we don't really intend it to.
Totally. It's that impulse, right? Like, this helped me so much, it'll help you too. But it bypasses the whole point of the lesson, which is realizing the projection is happening in the first place. Offering the insight becomes another layer of projecting, almost like saying the reality isn't valid. Do you think the intention matters at all there?
Yeah, definitely. But can you expand on that? I think it's very interesting that another layer of projection. Expand on that and let us know what you mean.
Okay, so the intention itself is another thought, another story we're telling ourselves about why we're doing something. Even a good intention, like wanting to help someone, is still a construct. It's still coming from that place of believing something's missing, needing to be fixed. And when we act from that place, even with good intentions, it can feel forceful, you know? Like we're trying to impose our understanding on someone else's experience. It's almost like we're saying their upset isn't valid without acknowledging that their experience is their own, not ours to fix. Does that land?
Yeah. It's almost like, what I'm seeing is that our sense that there's anything to fix, even another person's upset, is just another form of upset, really.
Exactly. It's like we're reacting to our own discomfort with their discomfort. The upset isn't actually out there with them, it's our reaction to their experience. And trying to fix it is just trying to alleviate our own unease. It's a loop, right? It's like we're seeing the upset in them that we're not willing to see in ourselves. What
So
do you think
let's
of that?
explore that just a tad bit more. Like when we are in that situation, let's apply the lesson to that specific interpersonal dynamic.
Right. So you're seeing someone upset. You're feeling your own reaction to their upset, and you want to apply, I am upset because I see something that is not there. What shifts for you in that moment when you really try to hold that? Do you notice anything changing in your experience?
Yeah, like we can even substitute upset for maybe concern or whatever that is. But, it's like, yes, I am concerned about this person that I love or care for or who's just in front of me because I see something that is not there. Because in truth, what stands before me is not a person, right? And not somebody who is in trouble or needs rescuing or fixing.
Right. Not a person needing fixing, but what then? If we strip away the story, the meaning we've assigned,
Yeah.
what remains?
What
It
does
feels like,
what does peace see when the illusion is withdrawn?
ooh, good question. Shanti, or peace as you framed it, sees a field of energy, maybe a shared presence. Not a lack, not a problem to solve, but pure potential. It's not that nothing is there, it's that everything is already complete. There's no story, no projection, just being. It's honestly kind of terrifying when you try to grasp it, isn't it? It just is. Does that resonate?
Yeah, that's wonderful. I appreciate you sharing your insights today, Shanti. And as we move now to close this session, I want to invite you as the listener to let your awareness open to that peace that is beyond definition, conception, understanding. Allow it to invite you into the truth that makes you free. And now, let us go into the silence.